Hi everyone, this video is the wrap-up video to my swatching of my PV19 session. This is just going to be me deciding which ones I'm keeping and which ones I'm getting rid of. Okay, so let's get into it. So first up, I have Quinacridone Reds, Daniel Smith, Quinacridone Red, Holbein's Quinacridone Red, White Knights, Shinhan, Roman Schmalls, Renaissance, and this is Isaro's Magenta, but I grouped it along with the rest of these. So first up is Holbein's Quinacridone Red. I'm keeping this one not only because I paid good money for it, but this brand is great. This particular Quinacridone Red, I don't know if you can see it here. Let me see. As compared to like the Daniel Smith Quinacridone Red, the Daniel Smith is a little bit more warmer, but Holbein has this blue cast, very intense undertone to it. Their colors are intense anyway, very pigmented, very saturated. So as you can see here, it looks a little bit patchy. However, I know that's because it's simply highly pigmented, and in its concentrated form, you'll get that because of the pigments. But even watered down, it still keeps that intensity, so she stays. Daniel Smith, we'll wait on that one, I'm not sure. Okay, so Renaissance, all right, Renaissance, Roman Schmalls, and the Isaro. So these are the three brands that, for me, they do something really special when I paint with them. They have this almost effortless, light, ethereal feel to them, and you can get that look without even trying. They work with me instead of sometimes where you have to kind of balance your water and your paint in order to get a really specific look. This one just kind of gives these three brands just kind of gives me that. So it's kind of a cop out, but if you see these three brands in any of the upcoming videos, they're pretty much staying. So my Roman Schmalls is staying, the Renaissance Quinacridone Red, Isaro Magenta is staying, Shinhan. Now Shinhan is a great mid-range, mid-price brand. It actually kind of reminds me of the Holbein, except for still the Holbein has this, I don't know if it picks up on the camera, but this blue undertone, this blue cast that I really like. I don't know. So for uniqueness, it stays, and you know, quality, of course, it stays. Shinhan, oh look, it's such a beautiful color. I mean, they're all beautiful colors, duh. That's why it's a struggle for me to get rid of them, but this color right here, this brand is awesome, almost giving you that same quality of Holbein at you know, less of a price. This guy right here, expensive. This one is like, the last time I checked, I haven't checked in a while, these were maybe middling as far as price goes. But if you want something akin to Holbein, but maybe, you know, this might be a little bit pricey for you, Shinhan, it would be the way to go. Okay, I have White Knights. Now White Knights also is even more affordable and still a great brand. But I do have, you know, as you can see, I have so many other similar colors in formulations that I prefer. So yeah, White Nights can go. I think I have a whole pan of this as well. I think what I'm gonna do is wrap the pan in wax paper and see if I can give it away to somebody who can use it. Daniel Smith. I love Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith is a fantastic all-around brand. Dependable, predictable, great. Love it, but I can't help myself. I get excited about watercolors and paints and colors in general. And so this is the results. And then you have to cull your collection at the end. So we'll get rid of these two. The White Nights Quinacridone Red and Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Red. Okay. So the Roman Smalls, as you can see, and this Asaro Magenta, which might be a whole different, should be in a whole different category, but oh well, it's here. These lean more warm, more orange than those two. I think Renaissance is kind of in that same family of that blue hue. And Shinhan looks somewhere in the middle. But all in all, those are the ones that are staying. These two guys are going. So, okay, that's two already gone. Not too bad. Let's see if we can get rid of more. Next up, Shinhan's Permanent Rose. Van Gogh's Quinacridone Rose. Sennelier's Rose Madder. I'm going to try to put the ones that look similar next to each other. White Nights Quinacridone Violet Rose. Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Rose. Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Pink, which is a PV.42. It's a different pigment, but fell in the same family for me, so it stays amongst them. Winsor & Newton's Permanent Rose, or Rose Permanent, same thing, I think. And then Mission Gold's Quinacridone Permanent Rose. So right off the bat, this White Nights, now this White Nights looks a little funny. I probably should have re-swatched this, but all this is sometimes when you have watercolors and they sit in the tubes for a little bit, you should, when you squeeze some out, make sure you stir it up really good to get the binder and the pigment mixed in together. Of course, when I was starting, I didn't really realize that. I just thought I had bad paints on some of them. But yeah, so I know why this is happening. But I feel like I can let this one go though, so that one's out. Van Gogh's Quinacridone Rose. Now this is a really beautiful color, and Van Gogh as a brand has its hits and misses for me. Sometimes I don't care for the way they dry down or the way they go down or lay out, but some of their colors are really, really beautiful. Very intense and highly pigmented. This is one of them, but because I have other ones like it, I probably let this one go as well. Also have almost like full tubes of these, so that's good. That'll be good. I can give those to somebody who'll actually use them, actually get to them. So let's see. Sennelier Rose Madder Lake. Now this Sennelier, the brand, was my first love as far as artist grade watercolors went. they weren't as expensive as some of the higher end watercolors, but they still had that artist grade quality to them. However, recently I've come across things that I've enjoyed a little bit better, a little bit more. So I think I'll be letting that go. It won't hurt too bad. The sting won't be as bad. Letting this one go. Really good brand, really solid quality. Colors are great. Actually, I do think I have some colors in the Sennelier line that I will end up keeping. Time will tell. We'll see when we get to those. But yeah, really good brand, solid. But can let that go. The collection. Shinhan. Now Shinhan's Permanent Rose. Let me bring that Sennelier back. These two look, as you can see, really similar, but Shinhan lays down a little bit cleaner for me, and I like that. Sennelier, in the higher concentrated area seems to, struggle a little bit more. So not that that's a bad thing. Usually you don't use watercolor at such a strong intensity or density anyway. So that's why I have these lighter swatches here to show you what you would usually, how you would usually use the watercolor, what they would look like. Here we're getting kind of like, that's kind of how you would use gouache, not really watercolor. But anyway, I think we're going to keep the Shinhan. I have a soft spot, I don't know why, in my heart for all the Shinhan watercolors. Have no idea why. They just, I don't know. They just seem to stay. Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Rose. This is a beautiful color. Has a little bit more of a blue undertone. That one might stay. Now, Winsor & Newton. Okay, so full disclosure again, it's my all-time favorite all-around watercolor. Winsor & Newton can do punchy, bright. It can do very light and airy. It builds very well. If you are investing in simply a couple of watercolors and you're just starting out, I would say go with this brand. I mean, I love the way even the way that they paint, like the feel of them as you're painting with them, which sounds weird. Sounds like it wouldn't be too much of a difference between one brand of paint or another. The feel, but it does. It goes down so beautifully. So if you see Winsor & Newton in any of my other videos, comparison videos, it might be staying as well. I know, weak. I know, but yeah, Winsor & Newton's not going anywhere. This Mission Gold Quinacridone Permanent. Now, Mission Gold reminds me very much of Shinhan and actually Holbein, but, at a lesser price point. Very intense. If you're wanting to get that feel of Holbein or that, that bright, poppy, intense feel, but don't want to spend that amount of money, I would say go with the Mission Gold. If you are starting out, you should maybe be wary of the intensity, just because it's hard to pick back up or hard to correct things when you go down so heavy or the pigment is so intense. So that's the only thing I would say watch out for. Make sure you water them down very well before you slap it on your paper. But a great brand, I think that one's staying as well. And this Daniel Smith Quinacridone Pink is a PV.42. I don't have many PV.42s. Not really a good reason to keep something, but it's a pigment that I don't have much of, so I think that one's staying too. Yeah. This one looked like it struggled a bit too as far as smoothness and laydown. and that might just mean I need to mix that up a little bit, or because all these swatches I did from the tube, not from a pan or anything, and I usually work from dried watercolor. It works better for me, but everybody has their preference. And it looks like that probably need to be mixed a little bit more. Okay, so of that group, I've gotten rid of 3. These 3 guys are going. These guys are staying. Okay. Moving on. Next up we have Winsor & Newton's Permanent Magenta, Sennelier's Permanent Magenta, Shinhan's Permanent Magenta, and M. Graham's Quinacridone Violet that I threw in here with them. Okay, so as stated before, Winsor & Newton's probably not going anywhere. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but the reason why I like this brand so much, it has the ability to be very intense, but has this airy look to it too without much effort. And I enjoy that. I just like the way it dries down, it lays down. So it stays. Sennelier again. This one has more of a dull cast, which is not a bad thing. I'm just noticing as I'm comparing all of them. Sennelier might go. Oh, Sennelier. I don't dislike Sennelier, okay? This is not a Sennelier bashing video. I just have things that I like more, and I want to get to the things that I like more, so Sennelier will go. Shinhan's Permanent Magenta. I think I would. Let me see. Okay. And then M. Graham's Quinacridone Violet. Ugh. So apart from the fact that these have a scent, this watercolor line, that I do not care for. Other people have said they don't smell it, but maybe it's just me. Maybe me and M. Graham just don't get along. But aside from that, they granulate effortlessly. So if granulation is what you're going for and what you like in your paintings, then this may be the watercolor for you. But even though I know this is a high concentration of pigment, and so you kind of get that usually, way more with M. Graham, even in the less pigmented areas now. Like I stated before, if you're doing more natural landscapes or nature-based watercolor paintings, that may work for you. It may be good, but for me, I don't know. And all of the colors that I have, 90% of them, if not all of them, do this. And I don't know if that's just a quality of M. Graham, and they're not cheap. These aren't cheap. But they're just not for me. So I do have a nice size tube of that. I will be giving that one away, so that one goes. Okay, so we'll be keeping Winsor & Newton's Permanent Magenta and Shinhan's Permanent Magenta, and letting go of M. Graham's Quinacridone Violet and Sennelier's Permanent Magenta. Okay, so I had more, I guess, Quinacridone Violets. I probably should have put that last Quinacridone Violet with this one, but oh well. It's done now. So Asaro, like I said before, I don't know. Okay, so the Asaro watercolors and Renaissance and the Roman Schmalz give this kind of look without much effort. I don't know if you can see that kind of like luminous, it gives it form without you even trying. I don't know what quality that is. I don't know how they do that, but I've had that experience with this brand, Renaissance, and the Roman Schmalz. So that's why I love them. That's why I keep in them. That's why they're staying. Here we have Holbein's Quinacridone Violet. Also very punchy, very intense. Very like if you did a lot of manga or animated things, comic books, this is your watercolor right here. And this also has that intense blue glow, almost like not fluorescent without being fluorescent, glow, that blue undertone that I enjoy so much. So that's staying. Basically what I'm saying is it's staying. Mission Gold's Quinacridone Violet. Also very beautiful. And also very intense. Again, like I said, this Mission Gold and Shinhan, they're in their intensity and their potency are similar to Holbein type watercolors. Then Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Violet, which I adore this. I like this. I like the way it went down too. That's one of my weaknesses too. Well, I mean, obviously you want the paint to dry looking good as well, and some brands I find have this ability to dry down really nicely versus other ones. So that one's staying. And then White Knight's Quinacridone Lilac. I think I'll get rid of this one. Not just because just because there's something wrong with it, but because I need to lean out. It's something that I need to do. So these three are staying. No. Can you see that? I don't know. Can you see that blue undertone that it has versus these other two? I don't know if that shows through the camera, but yeah. So I dig that. That stays. This guy goes. Okay. Almost done here. So next up we have, okay, so we have 2 and 2 really. We have Van Gogh's Permanent Red Violet, Rembrandt's Permanent Red Violet, Rembrandt's P.V.19. I don't know how to say this word all completely out. I just refer to it as a Benzie Violet, but it's a P.V.19, so feel free to go look that up and attempt to say that word. And this is Daniel Smith's Bordeaux. So this color in the Van Gogh is actually, I really like this. It's a good color. It's a good color, and it's hard for me to even part with it, even though I know I'm not the craziest about Van Gogh watercolors as far as usage, and you know, the look for me is hit or miss as it dries down, but it is a beautiful color. I like it. But I feel like I can let this one go. Yo, Rembrandt as a brand, I don't know. I've been sleeping on Rembrandt. They are beautiful watercolors. They go down so smooth. They feel great to use. Also, kind of giving me Winsor & Newton vibes. It's a really great brand. It's significantly, I believe, less expensive to get them from overseas, like from Jackson's, that's where I got this one from, than in the States. But man, if I run out of another color in any other brand, I'm gonna try to replace it in this brand, because these colors, they're beautiful. This paint is nice. Okay, so keeping that guy. Put that right there. Again, Rembrandt. This color in general does something to me. Love it. It's like one of my favorite colors. But especially in this brand, look how smooth that laydown is. I don't know, I have this thing about smoothness in my watercolors. So that stays. Daniel Smith's Bordeaux is probably one of my favorite colors of all time. So that one is staying. So we're getting rid of this Van Gogh Permanent Red Violet. And we're keeping these three guys. Okay. Okay, so next up. Now, these colors I don't care for in general. Like, this is not a color that I really like. But besides that, because even if it was a color I didn't like, but the paint was good, I would give it its tins, I would give it its flowers, you know. But this Old Holland Madder Crimson Late Extra Deep, I think that's what it's called. I think this was like $22 for a regular size tube. Yeah, this is, for this size tube, is like 22. Their paints run from like $22 to $33 for a tube like this. Now, granted, this is a large tube of watercolor, but there is nothing color-wise, intensity-wise, feel-wise that makes this worth this amount of money. I have three of these colors. I have this color, a blue, and a yellow. They all very dry looking, very flat, lifeless, kind of dead look to it. I am not a fan. I am so, whoever likes them, I love that for you, but it's not me. This one is going. And the Da Vinci watercolors, I have a couple of these. They are they're okay. They're okay. They're more expensive than my White Knights, but I would put them in that category as far as use and look and how I feel about them. So actually these two colors are going. They're leaving. And last but not least, these are the Perylene Violets P.V.19. I have Daniel Smith, White Knights, and Schminke. Schminke, that girl. Okay, and I don't know, I think I mentioned this before. This color I like to use in shadows and deepening other colors. So this color in itself works as a functional color. So these three are staying. I know it's a weak, it's cop out, but I use this more functionally than, you know, just for the color of it. So that's why they're staying. And I like all of these. White Knights is a great brand. Daniel Smith, of course. Schminke, you know, of course. So, and they all have a very similar hue. They would all work in that same capacity. So because I use this a lot, all three of these are staying. Yay. Let me see how many I got rid of. Hold on one second. So out of everything, I got rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's not, you know, it's not the most, but it's not the least. I'm pretty proud of myself, you know. I'm glad I didn't cry or fight anybody. So That's good. And it feels better. It feels lighter already, and I can't wait to do it with the rest of the colors that I have. So really quick, what I wanted to I just did a couple of like quick paintings to kind of show what I meant by painting in a tight way versus more like loose. Now this look is a look that I can get really easily, and just the look, it's not the best drawing or whatever, but the look of it is something that can get really easy with my Asaro, Rembrandt, or Roman Schmaltz paints. Actually, oh yep, Renaissance watercolors. So, and that's, I put that there because, just to exemplify when I want something that looks like this, like almost kind of like dreamy, and the colors can like bleed together and stuff. This is these are the watercolors that I go to: Renaissance, Asaro, Roman Schmaltz. If I want more, if I want something more intense and to stay in its place when I put it down, this is I would go for like your Holbeins, even Daniel Smith, Winsor & Newton, things that don't spread out so much and that give me kind of that concentrated color. And actually this red I think is actually an Asaro paint, which I was very impressed with too. So you see, even with the Asaros, I can get this kind of light, airy feel, or this very intense color. This was a couple of layers, not a whole bunch of streakiness. That brand is my jam. I really, really like it. And this, me trying to use these colors up that were left over in the pans, because I hate wasting it, rinsing the paint down the drain. It's almost, I'm like, oh God, it's such a waste. So I was trying in the hair to throw all the rest of the colors in it. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to doing more of them. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.